Hey guys, if you have been following me for a while, you'll know that I am a huge BMW E24 Sharknose lover. I've been lucky to own pretty much all the variants of the E24. If you've been following me, you would have realized that I sold my nicely restored 1979 Euro 635 on Bring a Trailer back in May of this year, 2021. And while I was building that, I had my gold Sharknose, which you see back here, that I was using to run around and drive. And this is a US spec 86 car, manual with Recaros. And then lo and behold, interesting story. I was looking for a B35 engine for this Gold Sharknose. I was going to make this Gold Sharknose my next project and turbocharge it. And I wanted to use an E34 3.5 liter engine for it rather than using the B34. And so I was looking around on Facebook Marketplace for just a replacement newer E34 535i B35 engine. And in July of this year, while looking around Facebook and wasting too much time on the internet like we all do, I found this car, and I only found it quite by accident. And it's only because the way the guy who was selling this car had put the tags in the classified ad, and the tags picked up under my search, the tags for the B35, it picked up this car. And this is a 1984 M635 CSi. It's a very special car. If you guys know these cars, I don't have to say much more than that. It is a fantastic car. As soon as I saw it, I was very interested. The cool part is I found it in Dallas, so only about 4 hours north of me. I live in Houston, and very close to home. I spoke to the owner, who was a very young person who worked at a small independent European repair shop as a mechanic. This car was brought in by a family. It had been in their garage for a long time, many years, and it sat and hadn't been driven for many years. They brought it in to get the car running and started, and then eventually to be sold. The mechanic bought the car from the family, who actually had it in Arizona and then moved to Dallas. So the car's only lived in really the good states, meaning the dry states. And then after the work was completed, they sold it to the mechanic. The mechanic kept it for a few months, and then he put it on Facebook Marketplace, and then I bought it from him. Anyway, I was quite excited on the prospect of actually owning this, because this is pretty much the high water mark for the Sharknose. There's a lot of debate on if the M88 engine that's in this is better than the S38, or if the S38 from the later M6 is better. I guess there's pros and cons for both, but there's no denying that this is a special car, and at 276 horsepower, it certainly will outgun a US spec M6, which has 256. So I was very excited on the prospect of actually bringing this home. We went back and forth on price, and then eventually settled on a price that worked for both of us. And then I drove it home from Dallas, and it was averaging 85 miles an hour for several sections of the journey. It was so composed, and I was very pleased with how it performed. So quite thrilled to own it. This car is going to be a focal point of my attention after I finish up that gold Sharknose in the background. And that gold Sharknose will be done here pretty quickly. And I'll do a follow-up video on that as well. But after the gold Sharknose is done, I'm gonna turn my attention to this car, and it's gonna be really nice when I'm done. I'm going to make sure every nut and bolt has been addressed, no stone has been left unturned. I'll walk you through the car, and I hope you're still enjoying the video so far. So of course these M635s were all private imports from Germany or Europe back in the day. They were never officially brought into the US because it failed to pass emissions. So this car actually has a catalytic converter fitted to it to pass emissions, probably when it was in Arizona and registered there. So it does have a cat in it. And I will be actually redoing the entire exhaust system with my good friend Blake. And I bought the Super Sprint system brand new. I got it on sale, and so I got it for a pretty reasonable price. It's 3 sections, and the mid pipes eliminate the cat, just like how it was designed from Germany back in the 80s. And I may do something a little bit different in terms of running maybe a different muffler and or resonator. I have to see how it sounds and how it performs, but I have some ideas based on doing exhaust work before and experimenting on my gold 86 Sharknose and the hand fabricated exhaust that we did for that car. The lessons learned I may roll into this M6. So anyway, let's go through some things here on this car. I've actually started ripping out a whole lot of stuff here in the engine bay, hence the towels. I've removed the valve cover and air box just to clean everything up, and just wanted to make sure I put the towels in place so nothing falls inside the engine while things are apart. But inside the engine, the cylinder head, the cams, everything else is very, very clean, and I was pleased to see how good everything looks inside here. So that was good. The car has just over 70,000 miles, so it doesn't have a lot of miles from new. And again, this is an 84, so it's a very early build date, and so pretty cool to have something so early on in the production history of the car. I've removed the exhaust, the headers, the factory headers, and I actually had them ceramic coated here by Polydyne in town, and they're right here ready to go back in. So yeah, those are the headers. They were very tricky to remove. I'm not looking forward to putting them back in, but I'm going to start that hopefully in the upcoming days. And so those are the factory headers, and they're beautiful. They're all handmade on a jig from the factory. It's incredible the kind of fabrication that BMW put into this when it was new. But anyway, you'll see a follow-up video on that. They're wrapped to prevent from getting scratched. And then here's a valve cover. I went a little bit different on the valve cover just to give a little bit of color inside the engine compartment. So I went with the wrinkle red and then the metallic silver on all the ribs and the BMW and the M-Power. So that came out really sharp. I think it's going to look good and kind of contrast nicely with all the black in there. And there's the factory air box that I had powder coated in black. I also bought these pretty cool old school staggered Centra wheels. These are 16-inch. They are 7s in the front, 9s in the rear, and I think they're gonna look really cool. I actually got these from Europe. They came from Eastern Europe, and I'm pretty excited to put them on the car. I thought about putting 17s, but I thought 16s would look kind of cool, just to do a little bit something different. The wheels that are on the car are pretty awful. I don't even know what they are. They're chromed, and I do have the center caps, but boy, they are in rough shape. All that chrome is flaking off, and so I'm looking forward to getting rid of those wheels. I'm putting these new Centras on with some new tires. Other than that, I have a cart here. If you guys work in your car as often as I do, and I'm sure we all do, get one of these carts. This is awesome. You can just kind of wheel it around in your garage, and great to put your parts and tools on instead of having to walk from one end of the garage to the other. So this is my cart with all the new parts on for the M6 gaskets. I bought this high temperature silicone hose for all the water lines, new oxygen sensor, belts, I mean, you name it, I have it here. I have lots of new parts here, clutch fan, touch-up paint, kidney grills, lights, gaskets. I have everything I need to do a proper maintenance on the car, because I think it really is overdue and it needs it. So you even have a brand new set of spark plug wires right here, which were hard to come by. So got everything I need to go get the car back to a current level of maintenance, even though it does run fantastic. And let's see, what else? I'm also going to put new motor mounts in it. All the hoses and rubber lines that carry coolant, I'm replacing every single one. And some of these parts have to come from Germany because these are pre-molded hoses, and they've been back ordered actually. So it's going to take a few more weeks before I get everything from Germany. After COVID, supply chain has been really slow, and kind of you have to be super patient getting stuff for these cars, and some items are no longer available, and I'll tell you that in a second. I refinished the gearbox. This was pretty rusty and quite heavily scratched, so I took this apart. I repainted it, sanded it, primed it, and painted it here at home, so it looks really good now, and just fitted it back in. I've ordered a brand new water pump from BMW. I only use the OEM BMW water pumps, and also a new clutch fan, and of course all new belts like I mentioned earlier. So that'll bring all the cooling up to spec, and of course a new thermostat. So the cowl here that goes here has been powder coated. I took the old hood pad off because it was crumbling and making a mess, and so that's been all removed. I just have to polish this and clean it, and then I'll install the new one. And so let's see what else. On the interior, the car has some really rare Recaros, which are fantastic. As you can imagine, from my 4-hour trip from Dallas down to Houston, I had lots of seat time, and they're incredibly comfortable. I have to replace this panel, this leather panel here, and this one here. So I'm going to take it to my favorite leather shop here in Houston, and I'm going to keep everything, of course, original, and just have those two pieces replaced and hand stitched in. This car, of course, has the M-Technic steering wheel. And I will be going through the car actually. The bushings on the shifter are very loose, and so I'm going to rebuild this, and I have the Ireland engineering kit that I'm a huge fan of, and so I will be putting that in here probably very soon. And you can see somebody's upgraded this car to the E30 illuminated switches, which is cool. So that's been done. I did that on my other 6 Series, and it was a nice little upgrade. And interestingly, when I bought the car, somebody had taken Permatex and Permatex the entire sunroof, which I couldn't believe. And so I spent hours one evening cutting away that Permatex without damaging the paint, and then got it all cleaned and polished up, and then sure enough I hit the button and the sunroof opened. So the sunroof has always worked really well, and I think what happened is the gasket, the sealing gasket, has started to fail. So somebody just decided to just epoxy it shut, you know, instead of putting a brand new gasket. And you can still get these gaskets from BMW. It's not particularly hard. It's a little bit of work to put one in, but it's not too difficult. So a new gasket will be going in here, weather seal. And let's see what else, guys. The trunk. When I got the car, the trunk, it did not have all the tools. So I bought a toolkit off of eBay. It wasn't 100% complete, but at least I got most of the tools. None of these tools were here. And a reproduction BMW cloth. And then I re-dyed all these panels here, the trunk panels. These were in really bad condition, and they were stained. So I re-dyed all this stuff, and I got the light working. This was not working before. The switch also now works. That wasn't working. This was also broken, so I bought a used one off a seller, BMW seller. But this is the original trunk panel, and it even has a reference to the M635 right here on the sticker. So I'd made sure and save that when I re-dyed the panels. The car also has the battery box trim, which is here, but it needs to be saved, if you will. It's pretty badly damaged. But a lot of these cars, this goes missing, it's thrown in the garbage, and I was glad that this one still has the original panels to go over the battery box. And so I'm gonna go through and rebuild this and make it strong and ready for duty again. But everything else is good inside the trunk area. So really that's the car, guys. You can see it's sitting up a little high in front because I have my floor jack under the cross member, and also I'm supporting the engine as well. So it's a little bit higher in the nose, but once I got all the engine work complete, it's gonna be, I'm gonna actually put a few more miles on the car and then really start going through the entire suspension. I'm a bit torn if I should coil over the car or just go with bilge sheets and lowering springs, which is a great option as well. And that's what I'm doing on the Gold Sharknose now. So anyway, more to come on this car. I'm really super excited to work on it. I think it's going to be really sweet when I'm done, and I feel very honored, I guess, to own it, because there's so few of these cars left and you don't see them, and it's something I've always wanted, so it's cool. So I can't wait to breathe new life into it, and some of the cool things I've learned over the years will roll into this. And I've looked at other guys' videos, and it's been very inspiring for me, and so it's good to roll that passion into this new project. And I will be taking you guys along the way on the trip. So I hope you enjoy it, hope you like it, and more to come. Thanks, take care.